And we are back, and we just finished watching 2024's Sting, rated R, with a runtime of 1 hour and 32 minutes. We caught this on the Hulu app, and it comes to us from writer-director Kiah Roache-Turner. I apologize if I've said that incorrectly. This was a delight. It was fun. It was clever. The effects were excellent. Thank you, Weta. And this was filmed completely in Australia. And I could swear that was Brooklyn.
I thought they did some outside show. I mean, it didn't look accurate for South Brooklyn, whatever South Brooklyn is. Uh-huh. But I guess they were going for Brighton Beach, considering the elder people had heavy Russian sort of accents.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
or
fits.
In that region of the world, which is where I guess a lot of those people live in South Brooklyn, maybe.
Yeah. But some of the areas look Brooklyn-esque.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the budget on here is, but U.S. and Canada gross is a little over $1 million, and the gross worldwide is under $3 million. So, well done.
Yeah,
well done. I mean, we don't know what the budget. Yeah, I mean, again, it could have been
it could have been like a $10 million movie.
I don't think so, but yeah, let's get into it. I'm gonna start with you kids first. G, what did you think of the film?
I thought it was entertaining.
Yeah, what did you find entertaining about it?
I guess just like the premise and whatnot.
Did you like Charlotte?
She was kind of annoying at some times, but I didn't really have a problem with her.
No?
Yeah.
Who was your least favorite character?
Oh, definitely the grandmother's sister. So I guess Charlotte's great aunt.
Yeah.
Dude, she was annoying and ugly. Like,
what did we think of her cat, which we've renamed Mr. Business?
Mr. Business.
I felt bad for it. It didn't want to die.
Oh. Yeah. There was some shenanigans with Sting, though.
Yep.
Yeah. What did you think of, like, I wouldn't say hidden themes, but the themes about the family that you create? Ethan wasn't really Charlotte's dad, but he loved her like a dad.
Yes.
What did you think of that kind of subplot in the story? Because it's not obviously not the main story. The main story is about Sting and Charlotte bringing him into this ecosystem that allows him to go to
Sting is a girl.
Sting was a girl. She referred to her as a girl, right? So yeah. And then Sting just goes to town and eats to her heart's content. But in the story, Charlotte comes to find some information that upsets her about her real father. But what did you think about the Ethan and Charlotte relationship?
I thought that it was very sweet. I enjoyed at the end where she called him dad.
That was very sweet. So I guess they came to some kind of resolution, because at one point she's very upset with him.
Yes, there's a lot of tension at a point in the film, and it happens after Charlotte has it's revealed something about her dad.
About her dad, right.
Dad.
Yeah.
Yes.
And prior to her calling him dad, she refers to him as Ethan.
Yes, she calls him by his first name.
Yeah. Olive G, what did you think of the film?
I thought it was good.
Yeah. Did you find it scary?
Sorta.
Sort of, right? I mean, there were some tense moments, but it wasn't like...
Is there anything that's going to like keep you up at night?
No.
It wasn't that.
It wasn't that kind of scary.
I noticed.
It wasn't really anticipation. It was jump scary.
Yes.
Yeah. I noticed with you, it seems to be like you really get freaked out when you feel like something creepy is about to happen. That's when you start losing it. And then when the thing actually happens, it's
usually not a big... Oh, it's not a big deal.
No, it becomes a big deal to the point where it's like, all right, maybe we should take a break. You've actually gotten better with that, though.
Yeah, I feel like, you know what? High five, kid, because I didn't think you were going to power through From with us, and you did.
Oh, yeah.
And that's scary.
Right. From...
I like From.
Yeah, From is very good.
It's brutal, too.
It's brutal. Yes, it is. Did you have a favorite character in the story, Olive G?
I like that Frank guy.
Frank was funny.
Frank the Exterminator.
I also liked him.
Yeah, he was hilarious. Comic relief.
Yeah.
What about you? What did you think of the film?
I like this.
It was fun.
This felt like a throwback to like
90s.
Tales from the Crypt, Tales from the Dark Side,
Yes.
Monsters.
Yes, like a longer episode of an anthology.
Longer
horror.
episode like that, and it was like polished low budget horror.
Yes.
It's not like, because
100%.
you have like your low budget horror where it's just like, oh my God, we're being attacked, and they're just throwing beach balls at people, and it's just like, this is
come on.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then there's sort of like that polished low budget horror where there's practical effects and lots of goo, lots of slime, and they pay attention to things like lighting and sound and all of that. And this had all of that. It reminded me a lot of like Raimi stuff.
Yes.
This guy is
Because it
super
sort of
heavily. This guy is very heavily influenced by Sam Raimi.
Yeah.
And he even mentions that. Like, I read a couple of interviews with him.
Oh, interesting.
About this movie.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that he said was he's targeting Ridley Scott, but he's getting Sam Raimi because he's just more influenced by that kind of style.
Which is not a bad thing to be. I mean, if that's one of your heroes, you're 10 steps ahead of the game.
I mean, those, if you're going to mimic two filmmakers in this particular style, mimic these guys, because he does mention, he does name check Alien quite a bit.
Well,
in regards to this movie.
Yeah.
And you could see the influence.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, the egg opening up. And,
yes.
and
I thought that it reminded me of that.
Yeah. And also, and
the way it leaps and
the way it leaps, and just the way it looks. It's this black, shiny.
Really nice work by Weta on the spider.
The fact that
I
that thing
thought it was gonna look way worse.
I thought so too. Like, sometimes it's like you don't know because it is a low budget horror situation, but hats off to Weta.
Yeah, they did a great job with that. Apparently, from what I read, he kind of lucked out because he went to Weta and they were like, well, what are you looking for? And he's like, oh, I want a real looking spider, not some crazy alien spider, like a real spider. And they're like, well, what kind? And he's like, a red black, which I guess is a poisonous spider out where they're in Australia, New Zealand. And the guy was just like, you're in luck. We've been working on one of those for like 6 months.
How fun. Wow. How fun.
And he like saw it and he was just like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
And you're going to say no?
Yeah.
You have this like fully polished,
gorgeous
thing, fully polished creature by Weta.
Weta, of all places. Yeah.
I mean, it shows. The thing looks great.
So cool.
Even the digital effects of it moving, it looks fantastic. Yeah. Like I said, there's a lot of gooiness. That's like a hallmark of that era when you're watching Tales from the Crypt or any of like the Raimi stuff. Even like Hercules and Xena and all that crazy half-hour shows.
Like stuff in Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like his version of Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire. Like you get a lot of that.
Yeah. It definitely looks really good. And the fact that it's there just helps. You don't have to like fill in a whole bunch of CG that kind of looks good, but is... the lighting's never right, or it's too shiny, or it's too smooth. This is like right there. It looks fantastic. As far as like the writing goes, I think they did a good job in that they gave you just enough of this family drama to make you care about the characters. Like even like all the characters in this little. It all takes place in a small apartment building. And
I also liked how they melded sort of like. I feel like we've watched a lot of movies recently, and of course I'm drawing a blank, but like this whole feeling of claustrophobia because of the inclement weather outside, people are trapped in their homes. Yeah. So and every apartment is sort of very similar. They have those yellow kitchen cabinets, which is funny. I mean, some things change. That one woman had the red refrigerator that I loved. I'd have to get that in the future. But anyway, so you create this environment and then you introduce this thing and we're off to the races. And it's a fairly A to B story. I think at some points we were sort of shouting out things that would probably happen and they did. Yeah. So it's I don't want to say completely predictable, but to an extent, yes. I mean, if you've watched these sort of movies, you know where it's going. You generally know what's going to happen. But it's still a ton of fun. A ton of fun. Mm-hmm. This is one of those things where, what would you say, maybe like 12 and up? Yeah. Maybe even 10 and up. I mean, there's not... No, because, Mr. Business. Oh. Well, F that guy. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. So maybe 12 and up. 12 and up. Okay, fair enough. At least in my mind. I mean, we're we're very lax when it comes to films.
When it comes to that. We figure, hey, our kids are going to see this at some point. Well, I would rather they see it.
They have
with
access
me.
to the internet on their computer phones.
Yeah,
so,
but this isn't like super gory or anything.
No.
Like, even when it gets like kind of gross, I have seen grosser.
Worse. Yeah.
Like Drag Me to Hell was grosser than this.
For sure.
Which
for
is
sure.
that's Raimi himself.
Yeah.
And that has a lot more puke and
Yeah.
goo and blood.
I'm still shocked that this was filmed in Australia because I swore that was Brooklyn. I kept looking when they did exterior shots. I'm like, where is that? Where is it? And I think at one point you turned to me and was like, and you were like, maybe Brooklyn Heights? I don't know.
Well, all the buildings were connected.
Yeah.
And
So
like
it
the
had
street
that
was all
vibe.
covered with snow.
Yeah, so you couldn't really
tell.
Yeah.
They did a good job disguising it.
Yeah.
It was definitely Brooklyn-esque.
It was Brooklyn-esque.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not that anybody cares, but
Yes.
we're from
we
there,
care because we're old Brooklyn. Story.
Kids, what did you think of Sting itself? Did you find it believable? Did you think it looked cheesy? Did you think it looked good?
Like I said, I thought it was gonna look worse. I liked the way she looked. I thought it was well done.
What about you, Al?
I honestly didn't really care. I mean, it looked like a spider, and I hate spiders. So
But
Agreed.
was it good enough to like make you believe like this thing is there with these people?
Yeah, right? Because the effects didn't look cheap.
Yeah, I think so. The effects are pretty good on this film.
honestly, if I ever found a spider like in that like apartment complex, immediately grabbing like a flamethrower or something and burning that entire building
I mean,
down.
these
I
are the
hate
facts.
spiders.
I hate spiders.
Yeah,
too.
I don't know what was wrong with Charlotte. She was just picking up spiders and cockroaches.
Cockroaches. Oh,
No fear of bugs, that kid.
weirdo.
Weird.
She had that Ziploc of roaches.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
disgusting.
I hope she washed her goddamn hands after she handled those things.
the intro credits was cute with the spider going through that little dollhouse. That was pretty
Yes,
nice.
that was fun. Yeah.
I like that part.
Yeah. Anything else we want to talk about before we give our numbers? I feel like, I mean, is this a movie that you can spoil? I guess yes and no. I mean, we won't say how it ends, but
yeah, don't give any. There's no details that we're going to give away, but it ends how you think it's going to end.
Right.
Just picture every creature feature trope
From
you
the
can,
90s.
and you pretty much got it summed up. Like you mentioned earlier, there were parts of the film where what's that noise, and we're just like, okay, that's going to be that, and they're going to do this, and this is going to happen.
And you were spot on because you are a lover of horror films. Something is shown at the beginning, and you were like, oh, that's going to come.
Yeah,
That's going to come back in the end of the story. And true enough,
yes,
faux show. That happened.
They always got to do that. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to go around the table and get numbers. I'm going to start with myself. This was a gosh darn delight. I enjoyed it from start to finish. Excellent production work. Sting is gorgeous. I do not like, what are they called? Arachnids? Spiders. I do not like spiders.
Get fancy.
But she is stunning.
Very well done.
Very well done. I also like, before I give my number, the way they incorporated this of, I guess, drawing comics and storytelling from the stepdad and Charlotte, from Ethan and Charlotte. And I liked there's a scene where Ethan's fighting with his wife / Charlotte's mom, and she says something to the effect like, this kid didn't even like drawing until you appeared. And it's because,
I like that scene.
Yeah, that was a nice scene too.
Yeah. Like I said, I think they did a good job putting
Melding
in just
the
enough family
drama in
drama
there.
to make you care about the characters, because some horror films you just
just-
don't give a damn about anybody in them, and
Yeah.
it doesn't hit as hard.
Another thing about this film, I don't know if it's because you and I have been watching a lot more horror films. Like when Frank comes in the beginning, it almost felt end of world-ish, because it was like
It was
he
very,
was like the only person alive on the block, and I'm like, Brooklyn is not like that.
No.
There is constant movement.
even
in
during
the
a
90s.
snowstorm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
People are out.
People are out and about, not giving a damn. So there was this element, at least for me in the beginning, that felt very end of worldish and apocalyptic. They're talking about extreme weather and whatever. So I just wanted to throw that in there as well. So anyway, Yes, really well done. I like good horror stays within, I guess, the 90-minute mark. This stays within the 90-minute mark.
Especially this kind of thing. This
horror.
is just fun. This
Yes.
isn't. You're not going to be terrified by this.
No.
I mean, you may be skeeved out a little. Like,
Sure.
I mean, you feel
Sure.
that way when you just see a spider crawling across your arm anyway.
Oof.
This type of thing, it's perfect. 90 minutes.
In and out, entertained.
It's like horror,
Yeah.
but not
over. It's not traumatizing.
You're not going to
horror.
be disturbed. You're
Yeah.
not going to be having nightmares about it. It's just fun horror.
Yeah. A scale of 1 to 10. I'm gonna give this a 7.5 or 7. Maybe I'll go up 7.5. I'm gonna give this a 7.5. What say you?
I would also give it a 7.5.
Yeah, it was delightful. What about you, Gigi?
I mean, I was gonna say 8.
Ooh, nice. What about you, Olive J?
7.5.
All right, 3 7.5s and 1 8. Absolutely. If you have Hulu, check out Sting from 2024. A ton of fun. I think, again, 12 and up. I don't think you'll be disappointed. And with that, we will bid you all a
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
good night.